Hello, I'm Amy Beeson. I'm here to talk about Write Up this morning. We've got one of our writers who'll be reading on Saturday, Sasha Neal. She's just having problems with the Substack app, which keeps crashing in live. So I'm just going to try and ask Sasha again and get her on. Any questions, just pop it into the chat and I'll have a look. Hang on one sec. Okay, hang on. So I'm sorry about the slight delay. We are in full mode this week for getting ready for Write Up on Saturday. We've got 8 readers, one of which is Sasha, who I'm talking to. She says her app keeps crashing. Hang on one second, I'm just going to text her just to come on. Okay. Oh, Sasha's joined. Okay, let's see if I can add Sasha on. Hello, Sasha. Don't worry. I I think this happens sometimes with with the Substack app. I think it goes down sometimes. But yes, so we are very excited for Saturday. There's lots of work going on, trying to get the writers ready, getting the details ready for the venue. Also wondering why I do these events at the end of term, because it's a bit, if anyone's got children, it's a bit crazy trying to do all the school things, all the work things, and then get ready for write up as well. But we're really excited. It should be a lovely Christmas event. I think, Sasha, while you're waiting to come on, if I ask you the questions and then maybe you can try typing the responses if it's being a bit slow. I was on a live last week on Friday, I think, with Claire Venus, and she was having a similar issue. So I don't think it's you or me. I think it's like a Substack issue because I was, well, actually, if anybody like this, but I think when you see calls for something like Write Up, it's an invitation to submit and send your story and put yourself out there. And I was kind of wondering for Sasha, but also for other people on the call, what makes you answer that invitation to go, yes, okay, I've got something to say. I want to be part of that event. I'm just interested. I know for me, part of the reason I started designing Write Up came from the meetups that I organise in West London. And I got into doing that, I think, because I really longed for that sense of community and connection. But again, I think because of COVID and having children and grief and all those sorts of things, I think I felt like I'd lost a bit of my mojo when it came to like showing up in public and speaking and telling my story, which for someone who's a writer and whose job is personal brand is not the best. Um, and I think the journey towards creating Write Up was wanting to create that platform for other people, whether that was for the first time or whether it was something they were coming back to get those opportunities to be on stage, and to share your work. And what I think what's really lovely about Write Up is, you are reading it, but it's not like a performance. It's not like a theatre performance. There's something like so genuine and supportive in the kind of gift between the writer and the audience in what they're sharing. I hope this doesn't continue today for the rest of the day with the app, because I've also got a call with Alyssa Mears, who's one of our readers as well, at 1 p.m. This afternoon. So that's not perfect. Um, oh, has anybody else had issues with the app where it's been playing up? I wonder. It's really annoying. So Write Up on Saturday. So we have Sasha, we have Natalie Liu reading, we have Alyssa Mears, I've just mentioned, who's on with me at 1. We have Eva Leyden, who I'm chatting with tomorrow as well. We have Rachel Blair, Holly Bailey. Sorry, Sasha's just emailed me saying her phone might need an update. It's all right, don't worry. Who else we have? God, my brain's gone. We have Kate Morse. We have Maeve Deenan. I've got anybody. Should be 8. But it's really exciting because it's such a kind of lovely mix of different stories and different types of writing. And it's definitely been a massive learning curve for me, not so much in the writing, but and I'm used to doing events, but also the funding piece, like working with people to get funding and what that means and all the kind of admin and the potential for doing that has been like a really big learning curve. Um, it's kind of always going on in the background. But I think it's been what's lovely, I think, is like how supportive like everyone in Substack and in the writing community has been about doing that work. Yeah, so I can still people are on. Just think I'll go talk. So I'm thinking that I might share on Saturday just a tiny bit from my work in progress, which is my next memoir, because I'd written like a little Christmas bit and just see how that kind of lands. But I need to do some work on that before I share it. We've got Emma Simpson, one of our judges, and Tom Wentworth. Oh, I think Sasha is on. Hello, Sasha.
Hello.
I was monologuing to myself.
You poor thing. I'm so sorry. I've
No.
joined from my computer, so
Oh, well done.
yeah, let me do that. So thank goodness for
Um,
that.
I mean, as a working mother of two, with two girls at two different schools in the run up to Christmas, I'm feeling like I'm losing my mind anyway.
Oh dear, yes, yes, 7 minutes late. Sorry about that.
No, it's not your fault. So it's lovely to have you. So this is Sasha Neal, who will be reading Christmas Gift on Saturday at Write Up in London. There's still tickets if people want to join. You can come and join us. I think we're expecting about 60 people. So that's same as the last one, actually, which I'm really surprised about. I didn't expect the fundraising to be as momentous as summer, and I didn't expect as many people to come because there's so much demand on people's time, energy, and money in the run up to Christmas. Like I know for myself, like I haven't been able to work quite as like pedal to the metal type, as I did in the summer. I'm quite surprised about that. I don't know about you. You were there as an audience member. Maybe you're less surprised.
I'm not very surprised. I just think it's really good timing. It's kind of it's not too close to Christmas, but it's in that build up. And I just think, anyone who's been before, who's sort of seen, stuff about it, will know it's got a sort of such a kind of celebratory feel.
Yeah.
And, if you feel like doing something, that's creative and festive as well, it's kind of perfect for that, really. So
Yeah, I'm looking at it as well. For once, I haven't actually organised my work's Christmas party. I don't think I'm going to one. So this will be my work's Christmas party. This will be the one that I'm going to do. So
yeah,
I think that's nice as well, that just we get to be together and kind of celebrate. And I think one thing that's nice from the summer is I've been able to use the budget and like put more of the budget towards having people who volunteered last time actually having a role this time, because then for me it makes me feel less guilty about asking people to do things. But I think it's these stepping stones towards like legitimizing creatives getting paid for the events and the work that they create, whatever capacity that's in.
yeah, absolutely. And I noticed that you've got I think you had informal roles with this last time, but this time you've got someone who is a meter and greeter who's going to sort of show people where to sit and that kind of thing and just welcome them. And I think that's really important. It will
Well,
just add that extra to the experience.
yeah, that's Lauren, and she's really lovely. Like she works with Tanya Lynch as well on the Ease retreats. I don't know if you've ever seen those. So she's lovely, and she came to the very first meetups that I ever organised. She's really well kind of known within Substack. She's like a really supportive person, as well as also she writes beautifully. But I just thought, she worked her absolute socks off at the summer. She ran the bar. She had like on a stripy dress. She helped with everything, and she did it so seamlessly. And I definitely thought, oh, I need to ask Lauren if she'd be happy to do this in like a proper capacity for this time, because also then for me, like it means I can focus on you writers in the preparation rather than trying to get all the candles out on the tables and like get all the drinks behind the bar, which feels a bit crazy. So I'm really looking forward to like having more time just focused on being with the writers, because obviously we're together for about an hour and a half before the event starts.
Mm.
So I just think that's a really nice opportunity to connect and get settled and practice with the microphones and all those sorts of things.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that would be really helpful for all of us, and I've been feeling really supported in the whole process so far as well, because just the fact that you've offered us a rehearsal on Zoom, things like that, it's really, really crucial, I think, when you haven't done anything like this before, like I haven't. And it just really helps to feel that you understand that and you're offering us help and support along the way. And then all the lovely marketing materials and all that stuff, it's a real novelty and really exciting to see all of that.
How did it feel seeing your picture like all branded up and
Just really, really strange, but really nice. I mean, yeah, it's a new experience, and I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm really looking forward to meeting all the other writers. It's so exciting to do an in-person event as well. I just think there's something really special about that. Just, there's a million and one online things which are great and so good for accessibility reasons and a whole host of other things. But, there's something really powerful about being in a room together, and listening together. And yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that side of it as well.
I think also, for you and I mean, we both uh, work in the areas of memory and, social history and those areas. And I think things like this, when you actually do come together in person, they are like anchors within your life, where you feel very, what I love about them is you feel so present when you do an event, like you're there and you're kind of in it. It's very hard to be pulled in like lots of different directions.
Mm.
And I often think that presence really adds to the quality of the experience that we have, whether we're in the audience or we're reading or we're organising. What about you?
Oh yeah, completely. I just think, apart from anything else, there's no distractions in a live event. You haven't got your phone on. You're just purely in that moment listening, and it's a communal experience. And I think that's really important, definitely.
And what made you choose Christmas gift in particular for Write Up?
Well, I wrote it especially for Write Up, and the theme being Christmas, just sort of triggered something, that memory of that, the moment that I'm describing in my piece. And so I wrote it with, knowing the venue, and which is so gorgeous, by the way, and I wrote it to be read, and I imagined as I wrote it, you know, reading it in that space, and but above all, it was kind of this just really, really strong memory of Christmas, a Christmas that had been really different for us, for my family, because of the fact that we'd managed to move our mum to this
Yeah.
much, much better care home. And, that year I was just high as a kite, in the run up to Christmas. I was just so happy. And I think, part of it is wanting to kind of explain to people why that made such a difference, and I think it's kind of hard to understand unless you've perhaps been in that situation, how it could make me feel like I was literally kind of walking on air in the in the run up to the festivities that year, because we'd had, my mum had got stuck in this care home for a long time, and our many attempts that we made to move her were frustrated for one reason or another. And it felt at times, that she would never leave, and that, she would, well, we knew she was never going to get better, but it kind of felt endless. It felt like the experience was literally endless. And, and then to finally, just to keep trying and to keep kind of being dogged and just keeping on going. And then to actually get something that we wanted in that situation where, it was really, really hard. Our mum was really, really ill, and, she'd had a really difficult time with it. Some people managed to live well with dementia for a long time, but unfortunately that didn't happen for my mum. Because of her symptoms and her circumstances, it was just generally there wasn't a lot that was good in those years, and she was ill for 8 years, which is also a very long
Oh,
time.
that's a long time.
Yeah, so to have, and not many good things happen. So the fact that, this was a really good thing, a really, really good thing, because she moved to a home that was so different and so loving and joyful and supportive, and, held us all as a family. Um, you know, that was just, it felt magical. And the fact that it happened at that time of year you
Yeah.
know, it added a real sparkle. And I'm not kind of like a massive fan of Christmas. I mean, it's, it's I think it's important to have a kind of midwinter celebration because it's dark and we kind of need all that light and we need all that togetherness and we need some feasts and things, whatever your religious persuasion or otherwise. Um, but um, yeah, so I like that aspect of it. But there's quite, I think there are things about Christmas that people find more difficult. And but that year, it really was a really lovely one.
It was lovely, and I know, um, I think all the judges connected with it, but I think me and Emma especially, um, having lost parents and have those experiences, we really connected with it. And I thought there'll be a lot of people, I think, as well, that hear it in the audience, where it will also be a gift to them that that memory, because obviously it's the experience that you share, but of course, as readers, what we do is we lean into our own experiences
Mm.
and look for the kind of synchronicity. And I think it is one where it's just nice to kind of bring back, that's what's lovely about memory, isn't it? Like, it brings back your loved ones just within that feeling. It's very, very special. And I was wondering, like, your work, I believe, often centers around real people's stories,
Mm.
and this is a really deeply personal piece. So how was that different, perhaps, when you're collecting stories and memories and accounts compared to, like, sharing your own?
Well, yeah, that's a big question, really, because in my work as more recently as in oral history, which I've really loved, but also before that in videography, where I was often, I was spending a lot of time interviewing people. I mean, I've been kind of gathering stories for years and years and years, but in different forms, really. Um, and I've always been a reader as well, so obviously, I've always been so interested in stories from the word go, really. Um, but to write and put out there your own stuff, it is so different. And but I can see now, the benefits of being able to express your own experiences and your own stories, because that was, kind of that's feedback that you often get in an oral history project, is that it has some sort of transformational effect often on the people who
Mm.
participate. And I've sat in rooms with people and they've told, shared their life story or some of it, and they've sort of seemed lighter afterwards, or or sort of days later or weeks later, we get some feedback saying that really really changed. That felt like it changed things for me in some way, and it was just so positive to just have that listening audience. And I think when you're writing about it and people are reading it, I mean, I've been sharing personal stuff on my Substack and on Instagram.
It's called
Um,
The Mentor's Daughter, isn't it?
yes, it is. Yeah, I've been doing that for quite a few years, but I started out doing it anonymously, and that's because on Instagram, because I wanted to have this. Well, I felt I wanted to kind of protect my parents' privacy whilst they were still alive. I think it's a bit different now that they're not here anymore, but at that time, that's how I felt really strongly. I didn't want to post pictures of their faces, and I didn't want to give their names and things like that. So it was anonymous, but that gave me loads of freedom just to write whatever I wanted and like really to kind of go there, and say what I wanted to say. And then to kind of step away from the anonymity it was the next stage, which I've been doing for the last couple of years. And then and there is, sometimes it does feel uncomfortable. You do feel vulnerable.
Mm.
You put something there out there, and you take heart from the fact that other people are doing it too, and that that you enjoy reading their stuff, and you really get something from it. And they've shared really personal things, and you appreciate their honesty. So you sort of hope that it works, the other way around as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that there's that vulnerability hangover thing that people talk about, which I'm sure you have experienced too. I mean, yeah.
Does it reveal something to you about love or hope or resilience in doing that work?
Um, the oral history work, do you mean? Um,
But also, like, your writing as well, like writing about your experiences.
yeah, I think, well, it reveals things to me all the time. I mean, it's an endless learning process, I suppose. And the fact that I'm writing about a really difficult period in my life, it was quite a long period of being a sandwich, as they say, sandwich caregiver.
Mm.
with two very young children and two unwell parents, um, writing about that. I've completely lost my thread. I think I was gonna,
Well, no, you're doing really well. You're doing really well.
what was the question again?
I
Sorry.
was saying about what it feels to you about hope and love and resilience.
Yes, yes. So yeah, so it reveals a lot to me, just about by writing about what I went through. I'm learning about how I survived that.
Mm,
I'm learning also about some of the ways I may not have dealt with it quite as well, or recently I found it really difficult to write about the period when my mum was getting ill, and I realized that at that time I just kind of shut it down, and I was just kind of in denial, and I had no real awareness of that before I sat down to write about it. So I
mm.
think it just does keep teaching you stuff all the way along. um and in the book that I'm writing, that, this Christmas gift piece might eventually be part of, much further towards the end of the book, I am gathering other people's stories and I'm writing about their experiences too. And I'm learning, about all the different faces of love really through that, because it's a book about care. And, the care system wouldn't be as stressful as it is if people didn't love their relatives, their mums, their dads, their aunts, whoever, as much as they do. So I think, yeah, the whole book project really is all about love and resilience in the face of a really difficult, um, challenging situation to be in with our loved ones.
And it's difficult because I often think, like, that's why even though it all feels a bit chaotic and crazy at this time of year, like, it feels overwhelming, but all the bits that are the kind of lovely bits, the glimmers and the kind of heartwarming moments are all kind of mixed in there, and you need them. You need them to get you through tough times, don't you? To go like, "Well, I have experienced happiness and joy, and it won't be
Mm.
exactly like this again. It will be something new, but it is there. It is in life. We do circle back to this. It is just part of the experience of being alive, and it is a very bittersweet time, isn't it? It's such a mixture of kind of human emotions, I think.
Oh gosh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, any of those kind of festive days, those special days in the year really bring back the memories and make us miss people. And we do need both. We need to be able to do the escapist stuff, the silly stuff, the trivial, the frivolous stuff, to remind us, of the fun part of life as well. But yeah, and the memories are precious. They are sustaining as much as they are painful.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, it is such a mixture.
And so you feel like there's an extra element of like one writing it down, but then also sharing it within a space so you read it and people receive it. It kind of elevates that, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, this, as I said, this is the first time that I would have read anything in public. So I hope yeah, I hope that will feel like that. And yeah, it's a big step, but I'm used to sharing words on the page, and I'm hoping that it will be like an extension of that. But I'm sure it will be a whole different thing as well because of the live element and the other bodies, being in the room, other people.
And then we're just having that everyone's picked this time. We've asked everyone to pick one piece of music, which will play at the end of the reading. So that's one just to signal that it's over. I think it adds something to the kind of um, context as well and the texture of the piece. It gives you a way to kind of take a breath and land and move out of that kind of, but also from speaking to if you were in the audience, some of the audience members said it just gave them an extra time to kind of let it sink in, just like the music, it helped with those transitions and shifts and things. So can you tell me about the piece of music that you've picked?
Yes, so it's called Tough Love, um, and I've completely forgotten the name of the artist. Oh my god.
Oh, I'll know. Hang on.
Yes, it's Laura Marling with someone whose name I can't,
Don't
again, I can't remember. Anyway, the reason why I chose it is because, I was kind of playing it on repeat, in this period of time. I don't really know why. Um, there's just something about it. It's not even so much the words, it's just the the melody really. Um, and my mum passed away not long after we'd moved her into the new care home, and that's another whole kind of part of the story. Um, and we were very glad that her end happened in that place and not in that other place that she was in. And we were really held there. But that song was just in my mind all the time in the sort of last few months of my mum's life.
Mm,
And then when she was quite close to the end, I my children came to see her for the last time, and I asked them both if they'd like to choose a song to play to her because it wasn't really possible to have a conversation with her or anything like that. My youngest son chose "Tough Love," and he said, "I'm choosing it because it's tough love between you and your mum at the moment because she's so ill." And that kind of said it all to me, really. And maybe he was sort of maybe it was almost like he understood something about it that I hadn't even understood, if you see what I mean, in words. So they both came in and he played that song to my mum. And so it's sort of forever very close to my heart, really. And it just feels completely bound up with that whole experience and that specific time in particular.
it's interesting as well, this thing of transformation, and that, obviously these experiences do change you. They change you forever, and, sharing them and writing about them is like a transformation that you go through yourself. And what I noticed is because I came to Substack, you know, when I was grieving, um, and wasn't quite sure how that would land, but also just as a human being, I noticed that you do meet people that you don't really know, but there's some sort of exchange of experience that goes on. It's quite a beautiful thing. Like it's a sad thing because it's changed your perspective of the world, but the quiet recognition in others is actually incredibly beautiful and moving. Have you experienced that?
Oh, yeah, so much. I mean, um, in some ways you have that feeling that it's sometimes, complete strangers who you are connecting with, online, who you've never met on it, especially on a platform like Substack, which is quite unique, I think. Um, you can feel close, you can almost have this closeness with them that you don't necessarily have with other people in your day to day life just because they have gone through the same thing as you. And um, it's so consoling, I think, to have that connection, to feel understood. I mean, I think that's what it always comes back to, feeling heard and understood. Um, and when someone, there's writers that I read on Substack, and I think, oh, yeah, that you've just exactly put it, that experience into words in a way that I couldn't have done or I haven't done, and and it just reflects your experience back to you, and it's such a powerful thing. I think it is transformative to read that to read and to see yourself in writing.
Mm. And if someone was unsure about coming to Write Up, whether, entering community, whether it's Write Up or a meetup or something else, what would you tell them about what? Because you came and you were very like new. Like I hadn't met you before when you came in July, and I'm sure you didn't know a lot of the people there, but it must have felt quite comfortable that you wanted to come back and then enter to be in it. I'm just wondering what you would say to them, because obviously we do have people to even like Lauren, I know on Instagram someone booked a ticket because she saw it on Instagram and she was like, I don't know anybody. And I just messaged like a few people with her like URL, and I was like, can you just say hello and make sure she's okay? And then I went to her and these are their URLs, and they just went off and connected on their own. I didn't even need to do very much. But it is a very welcoming space, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, it's really welcoming. It's kind of it's got a relaxed kind of feel when you come in. You can, if you want to, there's no pressure. You can sit quietly by yourself and just drink in the atmosphere and just listen, and that's fine. But if you want to, it's really easy to talk to other people. And I didn't know a soul. I mean, I didn't know anyone when I arrived. And there was, people on my table that we just, got chatting to each other. And I met a really nice Substack writer called Claire Hewison, who was sat right next to me, and we ended up having a really great chat. And I ended up interviewing her for my book.
Oh,
Um, yeah,
amazing.
so I would say absolutely, it's an encouraging, welcoming atmosphere. It feels celebratory. It feels nurturing of the writers as well. Um, so yeah, I really enjoyed it, and and when and when I saw, I had a whole strange series of coincidences. Probably don't have time to tell you about, but
No, tell me.
now, well, well, come to the write up event in July. Was part of a really strange week, which was packed with coincidences to do with my mum. And it was about 3 days before her birthday, um, the last event in July. And I wasn't going to come, as you know, because I had something else that had to happen that night, but that was cancelled at the last minute. And so I literally I think I just sent you an email saying, I can make it. And is it possible to get in? And you very kindly, in the midst of it all, sent me, said yes and just sort it out, Um, and, and I hadn't really sort of taken in the address. I just kind of like ran down to the train station, jumped on the train, and then I was looking at the address, and then I was like, "Oh, how strange. This is literally where I lived in the first few years of my life."
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, I was born in Hammersmith, and I grew up literally in those streets where the church is. I walked past my old nursery. I walked past the little park my mum used to take me to, and it was my first home. And obviously, it was so associated with my mum. That's where she first lived with my dad. They became parents together in that area, and we lived there. Eventually, my sister was born, and so on. So by the time that happened at Rise Up, it was yet another coincidence in this mad week of these strange connections, all to do with my mum. So I thought, well, actually, I just have to write something for the Christmas
Yeah.
edition. I have to try and do this. Um, so yeah, and then
You've probably been to a Christmas service in that church as a baby or something like that. You might have been to something.
well, yeah, I mean, I reckon probably went to a playgroup there at least. I mean,
Yeah.
it's such a community venue, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and I obviously walked past it, you know, countless times, I should think. So, yeah, it was really, really odd. So by by the time that happened, yeah, I was feeling quite spaced out with all these coincidences. And then this week, there's been another coincidence related to that week in July, which I won't go into in too much detail. But yeah, it just feels it's all connected somehow. So yeah,
Oh, I love
so
that.
I was absolutely thrilled to be chosen.
I love that. I often think if you're when you kind of like open yourself up to these things, you do receive all this, I don't know if it's energy or messages or connections. There's something that brings people together. And I like that. I mean, obviously everyone's wired differently, but for me, the idea that we're that connective, I find very hopeful and quite comforting and quite exciting, really. And I always think it kind of takes the pressure off you as a human being to feel like it's not all just within your gift, within your kind of like, I don't know, what you're supposed to be getting done with your life, that there's kind of like other things at play. It's quite nice. And, to feel it almost makes you feel as well that you're still getting messages from people, aren't you? That they're still part of the space that you're in. It's
Yeah.
really interesting. I was reading Lily King's new book. I've just finished it. It's called Heart the Lover. It's an amazing book. And at the end of it, someone she loves is dying, and she's talking to someone who's a philosopher. And they were like, "Well, you either believe that time is just now, it's right now, and that's all there ever is, or you believe time is potentially past, present, and future, and it's just that we're experiencing it in one way, but it connects up in other places." And I thought, oh, I'm definitely, like, in that space where I would get more comfort from believing it was, like, different things. And the writer said she did as well, and then she asked the philosopher, "Which one are you leaning towards?" And she was like, "I'm leaning towards presentivism." And I was like, "Oh, no." But, that's so exciting and lovely to know. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, no, that's all right. No, yeah, I mean, it just, there's something very kind of resonant about the fact that I'm doing my first ever share,
Yeah.
in-person sharing of my work in the location where, I first lived, the first part of my life. So yeah.
Oh,
Um,
crazy. I'm really looking forward to seeing you on Saturday. It's very exciting. I've got lots of shopping to do of mulled wine and non-alcoholic punch and prosecco and mince pies and all those things in
I,
the run up. I know. Um, uh, but yes, please, if people are listening, do come along. If you can't make it this time, keep in touch. Hopefully, the council's actually quite keen that we do more next year, which I was quite surprised to hear. So hopefully there will be kind of more events coming. But I think, it'll be lovely for you to connect with your cohort of writers. I found from summer that they've all been very supportive of each other. But like you said, equally, like, people met people in the space and they've connected and gone on and done collaborations. I just think that's so lovely. It's like you don't have to do much. You just create the space and people naturally make their own paths, their own connections. It's lovely. You never know. Like, you can't predict all that, can you? But they're the kind of lovely part of being human, I think.
Yeah, it's such a great aspect of it, I think, and don't downplay all the effort that you're putting in, Amy, because it's a huge, it's a lot. It's not just, it's great. It's so detailed and it's so well thought through, and it's a ton of work. So well done. I mean, it's incredible, and it's
Oh,
so good that that the council want to continue. I think that's just fantastic. And
yeah, I had a call with them and they were like, I can't believe this many people have like pledged and want your work and are supportive. And, we can't really ignore that. They were like, they said it's very unusual that something would repeat so quickly and still have the level of support. They said it shows like a real like desire, like that comes from the people. And it's funny because I probably don't know, but I work in like politics sometimes. And one of the things that we're always saying is that when you actually get change is when people demand it. When people demand something, and it does tend to have to be single issues because people can't create narrative or navigate around other things. But when people have something that go, no, we really want this, and it's something that you go, oh, okay, I understand what that is. It is how you affect change. So I love that it brings change, for you and the people coming and for me and the people before, but like all the potential people in the future as well. It's just lovely to think that it is a gift, isn't it? All these gifts
yeah,
that by being a bit brave and just going, we'll try this thing. We're not sure how it's going to work, but we'll all do it together. That you do give, it's a gift to potential people next year that they'll get to come and share their words as well, because everybody pitched in and supported it and was brave this time round. And we're here because people were really supportive in the summer, and some people have been both times and some people one or the other, and some people are probably going to be helpful next year. And that's all lovely, isn't it? Everyone comes to it in their own space, in their own time. Um,
definitely. Yeah, yeah, and to get different things out of it, and that's great. And I'll definitely be there at the next one. So yeah, yeah,
yeah.
in the audience cheering them on. So yeah.
Maybe helping Lauren pour some drinks. Um, but no, thank you so much. I'm so excited to see you on Saturday. It'll be lovely to get you all together. And it's always one of those things. Tom always said this to me. He was like, well, right now it's me, Tom, and Emma. So last time it was just me. But it's only me, Tom, and Emma that know all the pieces. So you don't yet all know how you all fit together, do you? I will give you a running order this week, but you still won't know. And that's actually, I think, quite lovely to kind of then see. I know from last time the writer said to me, oh, I get why you put me there and I get where we're together and how it's my piece, but then it's like a whole piece as well. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you,
Uh,
Amy.
and have a lovely rest of your day. I'm on with Alyssa at 1, and I'm
Okay.
hoping have less technical issues. We can hope. Have a beautiful day. I'm going to go and try and gather some ivy for the tables to go with the candles because I think that will look really pretty. That's what I will be doing in my lunch hour today.
Okay. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.